What's up everyone, my name is Zach and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be doing something quite interesting. I am going to be predicting the best books of 2024. And so yeah, let's talk about some rules behind what that means. So all of these that I have are like new releases. So all the new books coming out in 2024 and which ones I think will turn up on people's favorites of 2024. This is a Mostly Ghostly Crew voted video for this month. So the Mostly Ghostly Crew votes on content that I do every month. And this is the option that they chose that they wanted me to do. So here we are. You make sure I haven't missed any rules. I wrote down this whole thing in my journal. You can see this video planning is a hot mess. But I also want to go back at the end of the year after the Goodreads Choice Awards and see how I did. In order for me to consider it like a point, they need to be on the Goodreads Choice Awards round 1 or in people's favorites of 2024 videos, okay? So these are all the books that I think are going to end up on people's favorites list and or nominated for some sort of reward. This isn't the books that I'm most anticipating. Some books on here I don't actually want to read. Well, that's not true. All of these I want to read because I have a problem, but this isn't my like prediction of what's going to be my favorite books. I'm taking information that I've gathered throughout the years on booktube and seeing what ends up being people's favorites, and I'm predicting that for the year of 2024. And I can't wait to see myself at the end of 2024 going back and watching this video and seeing how I did. I'm very curious how that's going to go. I also only did this in certain categories. I did literary fiction, fantasy, mystery and thriller, YA, romance, and horror. Those are like the bigger categories and the things that I could find the most amount of information on to make the best guess. So those are the categories that I'm going to be doing. Another stipulation for this video, I'm not really going to be telling you guys what these books are about. Most of them are pretty popular and you know that they're coming or you know the authors, but if you want to know more about them, just look them up on Goodreads or on Amazon or wherever you find more information about books as they're coming out. My goal today is to tell you guys why I'm predicting these books and why I chose them. Some have explanations, some are just like, I don't know, vibes, but let's see how this goes. Let's get right into the video. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you haven't already, subscribing to my channel helps me out a ton. A like on the video goes a long way, and I would love to know, like, what are you all's predictions for 2024? What are some books that I maybe missed on this list? Because there are so many books coming out that like I spent a lot of time researching for this video and I know that I have missed a lot. So I would love to know from you guys' perspective, like what are going to be people's favorite books of 2024? All right, let's get into my guesses. So category number 1, literary fiction. So Kelly Reid has a new book coming out. So this is the author of Such a Fun Age, which is really popular, won a lot of awards. She has a new book actually that's already out called Come and Get It. I don't know a lot about what it's about, except for I think it takes place on a university campus. Basically, I picked this one because people are already talking about it. People are already reviewing it. Such a Fun Age was a really popular book. It won awards. It was a Goodreads Choice nominee, if not winner. And so I really think I would be messing up if I didn't put this one on there. I have several books for each category, like 4 to 6. So literary fiction, another one, Good Material by Dolly Alderton. She is an up-and-coming author in the fiction genre. She published a book called Ghosts that was a Goodreads Choice nominee. I saw it everywhere the year that it came out. She has this one's new called Good Material. I've actually already read this book and I'm going to be reviewing it in an upcoming video. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It's a book about breakups and like serious relationship breakups, like all the tiny breakups that happen in one big breakup, how it changes us fundamentally, all the nuances. It was so good. And I think there's no way that this doesn't end up on people's favorites of 2024. Another one, Lies and Weddings, and it looks like it's a literary fiction mixed with a romance that's going to be funny, but also have a lot of commentary. So I think that because his last book was turned into a movie and was such a big deal, that there's no way this won't end up on people's favorites of 2024. Okay, I have 2 more for literary fiction. The Book of Doors, which I've already reviewed, and in that video I said that I think this is going to be on people's favorites list. It's just a really innovative concept about the idea of magical books, time travel, and I think it will really resonate with people, but also feel very different from anything that's been published recently. And my last prediction is like a magical realism book. It's called A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. She wrote another really popular book that I'm pulling up here on my phone really quick that I know was like a Goodreads choice, either winner or runner up. Yeah, 7 Days in June. People ate that book up and absolutely loved it. And so with this one coming out, there's just no way. Like, I will be shook if I'm watching this video at the end of 2024 and this is not a Goodreads choice nominee and hasn't been on people's best books of 2023. This one has some magical realism in it. I don't think 7 Days in June did, but I do know that I Love Song for Ricky Wilde is like a story about the music industry and falling in love through music. And yeah, I definitely want to read it, and I'm excited to see what other people think about it. Okay, category 2. One of the first books I have to talk about, so this is for sci-fi and fantasy. Stormlight Archives Book 5 is coming out in December. I did not include this on this list other than telling you guys about this right now because the Goodreads choice cuts off in November, and most people are making their best books of 2024 in November in the beginning of December. And so that book comes out at the very end of December, and I don't think people will be reading it in time to make it on the list, but I did want to note that I do know it's coming out and I know it's going to be a big release. So House of Flame and Shadow, Sarah J. Maas, Crescent City, it will probably be the Goodreads choice winner, if not a nominee. But now we have the fantasy romance category or romantasy category. So I wonder what that's going to look like and how that's going to shape the fantasy category on Goodreads, because typically Sarah J. Maas always wins. And this year she'll have to go up against Rebecca Yarros. Whoa, there's going to be some fighting in the Goodreads Choice Awards. I don't read much romantasy, but I'm going to watch what happens with this because I think it's going to be interesting. Like, what are people going to do? I can't wait. The Goodreads Choice Awards is all sorts of messed up, but like, I'm very interested to see what will happen with this. I do think House of Flame and Shadow will be nominated and or it will be on people's best books of 2024. I haven't read it yet, but I probably will because I'm trash. So sue me. I don't know. The next one I have on here is Mercy of Gods. This is a science fiction novel by the author of, I think, Leviathan Wakes is the series. I have it somewhere on my bookshelf. I haven't read it yet, but it's very popular. It was made into like the Expanse TV show and a video game, and people really love this author's work. And in science fiction is probably one of the most popular books. It definitely will be on Goodreads Choice Awards. I'm like almost 100% accurate on that. I have to be. I want to read this book, even though I haven't read the author's work before, but I've just heard that they do such good science fiction mixed with characters and plot. Like, I have to check this out. I need to check out the other series too, but this is book 1 versus knowing I'm going up against like 8 books. So I do need to get around to that series though. But yeah. An Education in Malice is a book that I've already read and raved about on this channel. It's a retelling of the original vampire novel Carmilla. It's sapphic, it's dark academia. If people don't like it, I don't know why. I do know some people who haven't liked it, and you can have whatever opinion, like that's totally valid. There are books on here that I'm listing that I probably will end up not liking that other people will love, but I still think that all in all, this will be on people's favorites list and will probably be nominated on a Goodreads Choice Award. And then The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. This is listed as historical fantasy. So I put it in the fantasy category and it's Leigh Bardugo, but she's doing something completely new. Like, she's doing like a period piece mixed with fantasy, which I'm personally very excited for. I'm a little bit nervous about putting this on this list because I don't know. Like, I feel like there's going to be people who either really love this or really hate it. But I still think that it'll either be nominated or end up on people's best list just because it's Leigh Bardugo. The last fantasy book, the one that I think, if romantasy is separated, will probably win the Goodreads Choice Awards for fantasy is Somewhere Beyond the Sea. This is the follow-up novel to House in the Cerulean Sea, which I know, hot take, I'm about to shock some people. I did not like that book, but everybody else did. There are very few people who didn't like that book, and I recognize it as a me problem, and that's okay. But with this book coming out, I think in September or October, there's no way it's not making... It might win the Goodreads choice. It definitely will be on people's favorites. Like, I know few books people have been more excited for. Like, so many people are very excited for this book. Moving on to the mystery and thriller category. Oh my gosh, 18 billion books come out in this category every year. So I know that there's a lot that I'm missing in this category. Like, this might be the most published category or genre every year, along with romance. I don't know, shot in the dark there. It might actually be literary because that encompasses more books, but I don't know, not the point of this video. That would be an interesting video though. Anyways, so for mystery and thriller, I have Everyone on This Train is a Suspect, a book that I recently read and did a review on. This is the follow-up to Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, which people absolutely loved. I loved. It was a Goodreads Choice nominee. There's no way it's not ending up on this list. If Richard Osman, I'm not sure how you say his last name, is coming out with a new book, that will be on this list as well, but I didn't see that in my research. So if you know about that, please let me know, because I'm currently working on a vlog where I read all of his books, the Thursday Murder Club series. So if there's another one coming out in that I missed, definitely let me know. Okay, moving on to One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware. This is going to be an And Then There Were None telling. I've read one Ruth Ware book, and I'm a Ruth Ware stan now, and so I had to put this on this list, even though I've only read one book, and then I bought all of her books to do a video on her because I loved that one book so much that I had to go buy all of them, and that's how this ended up on this list. That's fine, don't ask questions. She's still a very popular author. 0 Days, her most recent book, was divisive for some people, the one that I absolutely loved, and it was on end of the year lists, and I think it was on the Goodreads Choice round 1 at least. The Housemaid is watching. This is part of the Housemaid series. When this book comes out, I'll be doing a video on all of them because I haven't ever read them and people won't stop talking about them, which is why it's on this list. And so I have to read it, and I'll be reading it when it comes out to give my 2 cents. But right now, I think it'll definitely be on Goodreads Choice. When I did my research, the first book and the second book were at least nominated, and I think won. So I was like, okay, this has to be on here. Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. You guys, I make so many videos about Riley Sager. It's Riley Sager. I don't know what else to say. Moving on. The Last Murder at the End of the World. This is by the author of The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, which won a lot of awards, was very popular. I have yet to read it, but I do plan to. This one, I don't really know that much about what it's about, except for maybe The Last Murder at the End of the World. I don't know, but I don't think there's any way this book doesn't end up on end of the year list. And then She's Not Sorry, which I believe is by the author of, what is that book? The Only Girls Missing, The Last Girl. I don't know. I'll put it on the screen for you guys. But that book was talked about for years and still is. So I think that, and this has a really interesting premise. Look it up. And I definitely think that it will be on the end of the year list. Okay, moving on to romance, another category that gets a lot of releases every year. I did my best, y'all. I'm just going to name these off. Like, I'm still reading romance, and a lot of these I want to read. Like, Funny Story by Emily Henry, hands down, is going to be. Like, I don't need to give you any other explanation. That definitely will be. Not in Love and Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Now, I don't know what they're going to do since she has 2 releases. I've read Bride, and when I was doing my research, I could not decide if I thought Bride or Not in Love is going to be the one that's chosen if only one's chosen. I have no idea. Stay tuned. I think this will be very interesting to see what happens with that. A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. I just love her. Her books are so good. People absolutely love them. They usually have grief and magical realism in them. So good. If you haven't read her books before, I recommend. And they've been on end of the year lists every year, as well as Goodreads Choice Awards. Lynn Painter has a new book coming out called Happily Never After. People really love her work. There's Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. And this one is like a magical realism twist in it too, I believe. I might be thinking of a different book, but people love Abby Jimenez. She's on end of the year lists every year. I've personally loved Yours Truly and Part of Your World. She writes really smart, really relatable, really impactful romance that's also a little bit light somehow. Like, she's just a really great author. The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I mean, it's Christina Lauren. I love their books. Everybody else loves their books for the most part. Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. This author's other book, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, was beloved by me and like so many other, I was going to say millions, but I don't know if that's right. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. Lots and lots of other people. And it was talked about for a really long time. It's still talked about. This book was supposed to come out this spring, and sadly it got pushed back to the fall, which with it being about witches, I think makes sense because, you know, spooky season, It'll probably do a lot better coming out that time of the year, but I'm really sad that I have to wait longer to read it. And then the last one I have on here is called The Pairing, which is by Casey McQuiston. It's her newest book. It's Casey McQuiston. Red, White, and Royal Blue, One Last Stop, I Kiss Sarah Wheeler. Beloved author. I have to be right. Like, I feel so confident in everything I've said so far. And we still have 2 more categories. Okay, YA. This one I struggled with a little bit because I don't read as much YA, and so I'm not as abreast with what's going on in the YA community. But the author of Ace of Spades has a new book coming out called Where Sleeping Girls Lie, and I loved that book. I loved Ace of Spades, so I know that I'm going to love this book. There's no way that I'm not going to. There's a allegedly YA, I always question this with romantasy, but allegedly YA romantasy that's already out called Heartless Hunter, and it's not about vampires and vampire hunters. It might be witches and witch hunters. I don't know. A hunter and hunted romantasy is out, and people won't stop talking about it. I think it'll make end of the year lists. A Tempest of Tea, which I've read recently, that'll be included in my February wrap-up. I'll tell you guys all about my thoughts and opinions on Tempest of Tea. This is by the author of, what's that book? Something Flame. I can't remember, but I'll put it on the screen for you guys. Really popular author, really popular YA books that she's written before. And A Tempest of Tea is really good. I think people are really going to like it, and I think it'll definitely make end of the year list. And then my last one for YA is the reappearance of Rachel Price. This is by the author of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which I loved that series, and Five Survive. I loved that book too. So I definitely think this author putting out a new book, there's no way people are going to miss it. Okay, my voice is going out, but we're on our last category here. I know I'm going through these really fast, but this is really just a prediction video. Last, I have horror. I have Murder Road by Simone St. James. I love Simone St. James's work, particularly her newer work that leans more into paranormal and thriller instead of like historical fiction and horror. This is more like thriller and horror. I have no clue what Murder Road is about. I have avoided reading anything about it for so long because I want to go in knowing nothing about it. I'm so freaking excited. I'm going to be doing a video on that along with Where Sleeping Girls Lie by the author of Ace of Spades that I just talked about. Those two are going to be in a video together, and I'm so excited. Those are overwhelming 5-star predictions for me. Let's hope they're good. Ghost Station. This is by the author of course, it's not right in front of me. Yes, it is. Dead Silence. Ghost Station is by the author of Dead Silence. This was another really popular book when it came out. I don't think people will feel differently about her next book called Ghost Station. There's another book called Diavola, which is supposed to be a comedy horror novel, and I just think everyone's been really excited for it. I think horror fans are going to eat it up. I'm so excited for it. I'm happy to call myself a horror fan now. Like, who am I? You can thank the What the Bleep Did I Just Read series for that, for expanding my knowledge and understanding of horror. And then last but not least, Paul Tremblay has a new book coming out called Horror Movie, and I think it's going to be great. I can't wait to read it. I'm going to be reading almost all of these books, so stay tuned for reviews. I think that there's only 1 or 2 that I didn't plan to read, and I did think about doing a video series where I read all of my predictions. Let me know what you guys think about that. All right, I just threw these at you rapid fire. I hope you found something that you're anticipating. Please, please, please tell me what your all's predictions are. I would love to know what we have in store for us in 2024. Of course, I need to give the disclaimer that there are so many good books coming out, but so many that probably haven't even been announced yet. So I know that I've missed things on this video, and I'm going to be kicking myself at the end of the year when I watch this back, but I can't wait. I can't wait to experience 2024. I can't wait to read books with you guys. Just thank you so much for being here. I do need to give a very special thank you to the Mostly Ghosted crew for supporting my channel every month through the channel membership. If you're interested in joining that, the link is down below. We do things like hang out together. We have some movie nights occasionally. We have our first one coming up here soon. I give them extra content in different forms every month. They get to vote on my videos. We have a separate section in the Discord. I love the Mostly Ghosted crew. If you're interested, come join us. It's linked in the description box below. And then very last but not least, I need to give a very special thank you to you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Here we go again, you think by now I know better. Locked in my head, romanticizing forever.